Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw, and I'm here with a good friend of mine from Malta, Michelle Buttigieg, who is the representative North America for the Malta Tourism Authority. And I was in Malta about 2 years ago, and it is definitely, I got to say, my favorite Mediterranean island. It really it was an incredible experience the first time, and so we're going to talk to Michelle about how tourism is going today, and there is always a lot going on in Malta. And you're going to find out about that and more on Insider Travel Report. Now, Michelle, how are you?
I'm good, James. Lovely to see you always.
And so let's talk a little bit about it. We constantly hear all the things that are going on in Malta, and we write about it. And I was lucky enough to be there. How has Malta sort of successfully really grown tourism in the inbound American market? And what do the recent tourism numbers say? And I got to say, it's largely due to your efforts. It looks like, you really have managed to ramp up tourism there.
And to have you also as partners and a lot of other partners in the industry here, James. Actually, you were with me from the beginning, when we reopened our office in, believe it or not, 2014.
Wow.
We've really, really worked hard with the travel industry. So we wanted to educate the travel industry where Malta is and what Malta offers. I think now we've moved from the where is Malta to oh, I have been, or when can I go, or how long can I stay? So it's no longer the hidden gem of the Mediterranean. It's still the gem of the Mediterranean, but not so hidden for this market. I mean, the numbers say it. We look at the numbers. We've had a really significant, steady growth from North America. But also as a general incoming tourism, we have reached the 3.5 million, which
Wow.
for us is six times more than our population. So yeah, it's been really good.
Now, when I was in Malta, I stayed in some wonderful sort of the classic luxury hotels. I had a couple of them I stayed there. But can you tell us a little bit about the more recent, newest, and sort of the most interesting hotels in Malta? And I saw a few of them myself when I was there. But I know you got more came on since I was there.
Yeah, and we're actually really excited because in the month of November, we're anticipating the opening of the Me by Melia,
Okay.
which is going to be a luxury brand for Melia, based in the St. Julian's area. It's right next to actually, they also built a huge complex with like shopping and restaurants and bars, very upcoming. So that we're very excited about that. And apart from the bigger properties, James, I always look at the smaller boutique hotels.
Oh yeah, and that's what we visited a few times. It was amazing, and in your old capital,
Yes.
and I'm blanking on the name right now. Help me.
Yes, and you're sitting where you're
Medina.
sitting right now. You're sitting overlooking the Grand Harbor. In that area, there's a concentrated amount of smaller boutique hotels. And think about this, James. These are palazzos that were built in the era of the Knights, and they are converted in these gorgeous small boutique hotels. One of my favorite, actually, smaller hotels would be in Mdina, the Shara Palace.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yes, the Raleigh Chateau.
And I saw we had a wonderful dinner there, a Michelin
Yes, you did.
quality dinner, and then we walked around and we ran into another hotel there. So there's so many, and this is a really small place, so it's like it
Yeah,
doesn't have a lot of room for hotels, and it's all the old walls. It's all the beautiful old walls.
bastions.
But
Yeah.
what is this hotel that tell us again about this hotel?
So the Shara Lodge is not a new one, obviously, but they do have new projects to it. They're opening a private villa right outside the peripherals of Mdina, the old city, and which would have rooms or could be sold on its own or separately. And then the Shara itself has another project next to which is called the Palazzo, which they will be opening up as well. Again, as you said, apart from the hotels that there are, you have the leading hotels, the beautiful Phoenicia Hotel. the Iniala Hotel, which actually where you're sitting, it would be the view of the Iniala
Yeah,
that
well,
they
I
have.
have this photo in back of me of my time in Malta overlooking it's Valletta, and you're overlooking this thing. In fact, I think I'm overlooking your one of the museums that I went to there. It's just that
Yeah, St. Elmo, Fort St. Elmo. So yeah, there's a lot of exciting projects. Of course, the bigger hotels, we have a Hard Rock Cafe coming next year or beginning of 2026. Um, Hilton opened a smaller hotel there. So did Hyatt. The beautiful Marriott Hotel, which is in Spinola Bay. These hotels constantly renovating. The Kempinski Hotel in Gozo is going under a renovation this year. Most of their rooms. I visited this summer. I mean, I love the Kempinski because I love the brand, but I also love that it's in Gozo on the sister island, and they have the Ayurveda spa. Of course, let's not forget the Corinthias. So you have the Corinthia Palace.
I stayed
Um,
in the Corinthia and I stayed at the Phoenician. That hotel is right next to the wall. The Corinthia is a little farther out, but it's a classic property. And I did visit the Kempinski when I was in Gozo. And that's actually an important thing to tell our travel advisors out there. Malta is not one island, it is two islands.
it's
Uh,
actually three
it's
islands,
actually,
main ones,
I forgot about the
main
little one.
ones,
The
the
little,
little one,
the
the
little
little one.
one. I forgot about that one. But Gozo is very laid back, but it does have some amazing hotels and amazing sites. And one of the great hotels is that Kempinski.
That's right. Also like when you're on these islands, you can really um experience the curated experiences, especially like Gozo, for an example. People say, what does the Gozo look like? For me, Gozo, and maybe you agree with me, it's like the Hamptons for
Yeah,
the Maltese.
yeah.
So more rural, beautiful villas as well, private villas. That's what it's well known for. But you get the same style of curated experiences that you get in Malta on a smaller,
And
more relaxed.
you take the ferry to get there, and it's a destination unto itself, and
It
it's
is.
really laid back. So that was an interesting contrast, and I was able to tour both places. Now let's talk a little about getting there. Airlift to Malta. I know you don't have any direct flights to my knowledge yet. Uh,
Not yet.
Hopefully you will get some soon.
Hopefully, we're working on it.
It's definitely worth it. But you do have some other new developments. I believe Aer Lingus has got a connection that takes you in there, and I'm not sure what else is going on.
Yeah, so again, as we said before previously, we're connected through any major hub in Europe. So whether, Delta or all the major airlines going into, Germany, KLM, Amsterdam, Air France, the UK, obviously good connection with us, and Italy, Istanbul. And as you said, Aer Lingus is actually starting to fly in October to Malta, four flights, three flights in the winter season, four flights weekly into Malta from Dublin. So you connect through Dublin, but the connection is through 14 major airports in the US. So that's a very good addition to us for many reasons. For the ones that wants to do the two destination vacation, we're also talking to some major tour operators too to include Malta together with their already existing Irish programs, because it would be a good connection. And again, it's the destination that has daily flights, so you're not getting there in one day and you're stuck there for a whole week. These you can get out in and out of the islands pretty easily.
No, that's wonderful. And of course, I did that. I connected through Germany, I believe.
Yes.
It was quite easy and quite going. And then I went back because I keep traveling, and I kept traveling for another month after I did Malta, and I always wanted to go back to Malta, and someday I
You're
will.
always welcome.
Now, let's talk for the U.S. market. Malta kind of likes to trying to develop sort of luxury and curated experiences for visitors. Can you give us some examples of this?
Well, we're very lucky, James, because we attract a lot of different niche markets because of our vast history and culture. With that comes a lot of curated experiences, whether you're a big foodie and wherever you go, you want to eat and drink well. Um, not a lot of people know that Malta has a really amazing wine. We have
Oh,
two,
I know
you
that.
know
I know
that.
that.
You,
I was amazed at the wines, I got to tell you. But
yes.
you don't export a lot, that's for sure.
Yes, well, we have two indigenous grape, and we unfortunately we don't export much because we drink it all, and then we have people like you that come over and help us do that. But the wine and food pairing, it takes you through history. So there's various ways how to whether you're eating in a Michelin star restaurant like you did at Du Monde, or just sitting in a piazza and savoring our what we call like a street food, which are called pasticci, with a cup of tea, going back to our British roots.
Sure.
Um, to wine pairing in one of our wine tasting in one of our wineries.
I did that. It was an amazing tasting. It's out in the countryside, and it was
Tabetta, yeah. You went to
incredible. And
Tabetta.
you have so many other wineries that you can go tasting. But actually, get a driver.
Yeah, it's easy and it's affordable.
That's absolutely.
And then, as we said, Gozo is a great place for curated experiences, whether you're into wellness and you want to do a yoga class near the Gigantia temples, which is the oldest megalithic temple in Malta, 1500 years older than Stonehenge and the pyramids of Giza. So depending on the niche market, that you're coming in from, but definitely we can boast of some amazing curated experiences.
Now, equally, I get press releases from you all the time. It seems every other day you have a festival or a concert or some amazing events that you do for different niche markets. Can you give us some of the highlights for 2025? And I've always wanted to, time it because you also hold them in these fabulous historic venues. You can see opera or singers or even pop song in some of the oldest places in Malta.
You're right. We are the kind of people that like to be outside. We have 300 days of sunshine, so any excuse for us to be outside, we will take it. And we will also we love celebrating life. So from January all the way to December, you have something on the calendar. For an example, for the music fanatics, we start with the Baroque Festival in January. Now, the Baroque Festival, James, I'm sure you would love this, but it's held in Valletta mostly, and you're going from one theater to the others. Now, Valletta has some of the oldest theaters in Europe. So, like you have the Manuel Theater, built by the Grand Master of that time. And in the 1500s, we're talking. And it's still a beautiful, very elaborate theater. So the Baroque Festival is really appropriate to be held in such different locations. But as you said, we have big concerts throughout the year. We are the Isle of MTV. So in July, we have a big, huge concert free, which attracts a lot of people throughout the Jazz Festival in July. Those are just music. Then we have the festas. Every village has a festa that is dedicated to the patron saint, fireworks, food, band. We're outside. We're out there all the time. So you definitely get to live like a local.
Yeah, no, and I got a time next time I go, I want to time it to one of those festivals because I think that's what travel advisors should take a look at your schedule of events and really try to go when there's whether it's a festa, whether it's a concert, Baroque or whatever. It's just amazing to be there, and you are outside all the time. So that's a key selling point, I think, for Malta.
For sure. For sure.
Now, tell us a little bit about Visit Malta is got some maybe the newest marketing campaigns you have here in the US and who do they target? I understand that you're doing some TV and commuter train and bus shelter advertising
We're all over.
yeah, over the past year. Tell us a little bit about those campaigns right now and maybe what's to come.
Yeah, so as we've discussed many times, we started with educating the travel industry because Malta, it wasn't really well known 10 years ago. We are now venturing into the consumer market just to help now whoever is selling us, whoever's been such a great supporter of Malta, whether it's tour operators, travel advisors, different consortia that have sold Malta to their clients. Now we want to entice their clients. Now it's not just a matter of the travel advisors just telling them where to go, but actually the consumer itself that wants to go there. And with that, as you mentioned, we're doing a very healthy TV campaign, ad campaign. Hopefully we started on the East Coast, so now we're taking it to different cities throughout North America. To train the train commuter trains, and even we had a campaign on the Upper East Side next to all the bus stops, which was really nice. I kept getting pictures from everyone passing by, saying, "Oh, look, I've seen Malta here. I've seen Malta
Oh, that's
there." And you kind of, get but we also work in Canada, James, and we're really venturing into the Mexican market. So hopefully next year we'll have good exposure there too.
That's great. And as soon you're going to wrap the Times Square, the shuttle. You're gonna
We've
do
had
that one.
we've
Although
had Times Square.
no, no,
Uh,
that's great. That's great. And boy, you got some incredible images that people are going to say, where is that? And then they're going to figure out it's Malta. So let's talk a little bit about, we mentioned the travel advisors, and how are you working with travel advisors today? And what kind of events, meetings, webinars, et cetera, do you have for them?
Well, you know that after COVID, things have changed for everybody, including us. So, we try to be in front of the travel advisors as much as we can, potentially. So we go to all major events, and we were talking just before we hopped on this call about some of the major fairs like ILTM, and, we're part of Virtuoso. So we try to partner up with the consortiums that we are members of to always be in front. We do a lot of great events, James. We just had an amazing event in New York City in our embassy that depicts it's called Taste History. So it's about actually what we ate from the time of the megalithic temples all the way to the Great Knights, and it was a menu tasting of these different types of eras that are in Malta, and we're just kind of taking it to the next level and showcasing Malta for all the different aspects that it can offer. But yeah, we love meeting the advisors because I always believed that they are our ambassadors. They're the ones that eventually make that call. And
Absolutely.
and
Sell to their clients. And I'm sorry I missed that event. I would have liked to eat through the
I
history of
know
Malta. That's
you are not here. You're not here. You're not here.
that's the sad part. I'm often not at my home in New York. I'm in Malta, as you can see. No, so but anyway, let's talk a little bit about we have festive season, Christmas, New Year's coming up, and there's still time to book. What can visitors expect when visiting Malta during the festive season?
Well, first of all, they could accept good weather. So, mild winter temperatures, which is fantastic, especially for those Americans that are coming from a colder environment, to go to Malta and the sun is still shining, which is a beautiful thing. Um, Most people know that Malta is predominantly Roman Catholic. So we are the islands of St. Paul with beautiful churches, over 260 churches. And you've seen some of them. And you might say, oh, my clients don't want to go to a country to see churches. You do want to see these
Oh
ones
yeah.
because it's one more elaborate than the others. And can you imagine in the festive season, they're all super decorated with an array of events going on, choir singing. So you're really submerged in the holiday season of the holiday itself. The birth of Christ, the decoration, a lot of nativity, cribs decorated. We are a competitive nation, so we compete again. One village competes against each other. Who has the most lit street? Valletta is beautiful with beautiful lights all over, and you can really feel the warm hospitality of the Mediterranean, which Malta is so well known of, and that you've experienced yourself. From traditional foods to traditions that we inherited from other, civilizations that passed through. We have the British pudding, the Christmas pudding.
Oh yeah.
So just a little bit of everything, which, and then New Year's Eve, there's a lot of celebrations. The big New Year's Eve party party that happens in Valletta, which is really amazing. Again, you can be outside, so that is a big plus for
Well, I
most of the time anyway.
Well, I couldn't imagine a better place to spend Christmas and New Year's than Malta with all that I've saw even not during festive season. I can only imagine. I did see photos and it's just an incredible experience to be there at that time. So hopefully one of these days I'll get a chance to do that or at least a festival. Just give me a
Yes,
festival. That's it.
yes.
Where can travel advisors go to learn more about Malta?
So apart from our website, which has a lot of helpful links like events calendar, one can type in the dates of their clients or when they're going to be there, and an array of festivities come up for that period of time. So I always suggest visit Malta because it is user friendly and it has a lot of information like itinerary, inspiration, different niche markets, different times of the year, what one can do. So you can really get inspiration from there. Also, James, we have the Travel Agent Academy course that one can take about Malta. And for those agents that are virtuoso, we have a lot of tools also on the virtuoso website, Web 15, immersion courses. So there's a lot out there. And we're here to help you.
And
So
right, you're here all the time. You're in
I'm here all the time. I'm a New Yorker too.
Although you could hopefully go back to Malta enough to see the
I
island.
do. I do. I
Otherwise,
do.
if you can't, I will go for you.
Why don't you join me next
There you
time?
go. Next time we will get together and go to Malta. Well, Michelle, I want to thank you for taking the time. Malta has become one of my favorite destinations, and just from the 4 days I was there, and it just makes me want to go back. And I look forward to that time. And you've always been wonderful and really promoting your country so well. And it really is impressive what you've done with the numbers. And as you say, increasingly more Americans are aware Malta is a great place to go to. And now they're going to start asking their travel advisors, how do I get there? And what do I do? And there is so much to do. But so again, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you, James. Thank you for having me as always.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.